If you can't kill them in blue jeans, then they just need to live. So obviously nobody ever wants that to happen. When I shot the deer, I thought it was a good shot. It was a little high, but you know, normally in the deer stand, even if you hit them a little high, when it comes out, it'll be a little lower because you're elevated off the ground. Alright, well that was not the case. I got like 4 or 5 inches of penetration, and I don't know if it like deflected, but I didn't get it on film because I had to get down and go shoot him. I had to shoot him again in the lung, and his lungs, like, he released all his air and he was still alive for like 5 minutes. I'm going to break down a little bit about what I've been dealing with. And there's actually deer in there right now, but so basically this deer has been real easy to pattern for like the last 3 evenings. I think he's been in there. You see him right there, he's working the scrape I shot him under. He was in there yesterday morning also, and I've got another deer in there, but they're about the same size. I've had this deer patterned pretty well. He's came in the last 3 evenings, every evening at like 6 o'clock, 6:15, and then he came in one day at like 6:18. So I knew if I sat in there until 6:30 that I was either going to see him or I would get a shot. And it was like 6:30, he came out running some does, and I had does under my stand. Like, it was just chaos in there. There was deer everywhere. It was so hard for me to like get good film. I had one eating in a bush like probably 10 yards maybe from the base of my stand, so it was real aggravating for me to like try and move the camera and not get spotted. And then I ended up drawing back on him one time and couldn't get a shot because he was probably 42 yards, and I feel comfortable at 40 yards, but if I think he's going to come closer, and every time I've had him on camera he's worked the scrape, it's at 35. So I didn't want to shoot at 40. He ends up bumping the does. Every one of them's within 15 yards, and none of them are sketchy, but all it takes is one movement and then you got eyes on you. And I'm also sitting up there in a Georgia Bulldog sweatshirt, blue jeans, and my white golf hat. There's a good visual representation of what he looks like on the hoof. He's been nocturnal up until September 26th, and I don't know what changed his mind, but he started coming in daylight very, very regularly. Him and another buck that I had pictures of last year. I think he's a 4.5-year-old. So this was yesterday morning at 8:40. You can see he's in there. He's going right over there to work that scrape. He works it every time he comes in here. And you already know why. He's trying to get all the ladies. Then as you can see, here's him again. This was yesterday at 5:56. He's been very consistent coming around about that 6 o'clock range, within 6 o'clock and 6:20. The shot obviously was a little high, but it wasn't high enough to where I thought he should have dropped in his track. It didn't look like I hit him in the spine, unless it maybe deflected upwards because, you know, I would have hit the ribs where they're curving up and might have hit one deflected. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm coming up with in my mind, because just about every deer I've shot has always been a little high, but I've never had that happen to me, and I've killed probably 20 deer with my bow. Yeah, the footage is nothing you ever want to like happen. You don't want your worst enemy to go through that, like the feeling of knowing you just wounded that animal really badly. And that's why I instantly cut the camera off after I shot and went down there and finished them off. Coming out of a stand, you would think, even with a little high of a shot, because most of the time it is, like, people practice at 25 and it's dead on, and then when you shoot, if you shoot a target out of a stand at 25 yards, it hits like an inch high, or 2 inches high. No matter what bow, no matter how much it drops, it's going to do it. Alright, well, when I shot this deer, obviously it hit high, but it didn't go downwards like it should have when it was flying. It actually hit and went dead straight. So it didn't hit his spine. I'm thinking it might have cut a nerve or something, because he instantly dropped in his tracks. But lung blood on the arrow, I don't know. But I got down there and did what I had to do, and as humanely as I possibly could after that, because that is very unfortunate. We're not out here to wound animals or hurt animals. You know, we try and do things by the book and do everything right, but sometimes accidents happen. I know it's happened to a lot of y'all, and it's just something you have to live with as a bow hunter, because if it hasn't happened, sooner or later it will. A deer will duck your arrow, or you will make a bad shot, and I blame that one on myself, and it's just a pill I'm gonna have to swallow and move on to the next one. practice more in the yard. Even though you're already comfortable, if you're shooting your bow, you can never be too comfortable.